Hey, what's up, Next Level crew? Welcome back to another episode of What's Your Next? And today we're continuing on in our series on franchise questions answered. And this question came in from Steven. This actually came in from one of our online forms that he had filled out. I thought it was a really good question that we get a lot. How much money do I need to actually start a franchise? So, Stacy, what do you think?
Welcome to What's Your Next? This is the go-to podcast for aspiring business owners who want to get to the next level, escape the rat race, and give their middle finger to the corporate 9-to-5. If you want financial freedom, work-life balance, and the business of your dreams, you're in the right place. Dave and Stacy Riska, husband-wife franchising duo, openly share their successes, failures, and lessons learned in franchising, business ownership, and working with your spouse.
Oh, the M word, the money question, right? I need some money to open a franchise. My guess is that Steven's thinking it's a lot and he's feeling overwhelmed. So it's a great question to ask because I'm glad that you're thinking about this as an investment. And the answer is there are a lot of ways to fund the business of your dreams. So let's kind of break it down and start with the basics first. When you're looking at investing in a franchise, there's different levels of investment. When we're working with candidates, we kind of put it into 3 different tiers. On the lower end, you'll likely invest between $50,000 and $150,000. Mid-tier is going to be about $150,000 to $300,000. And then a big all-in, big build-out kind of, usually brick and mortar, is $300,000 and up. So the answer is, how much money do you need? Well, it depends because each franchise may be in one of those tiers. Most candidates that we help are usually in one of the first 2 tiers, so usually up to $300,000. So Dave, you know, a lot of people will think, oh my God, that's a lot of money. Like, what do I get for that? And how do I have to have $300,000 sitting in the bank? I bet Steven's wondering the same.
Yeah, of course. That's, again, a very good question. And I'm going to start off with the kind of clarifying this question, Steven, in that you are not starting a franchise. Number one, you are acquiring a franchise that has been started by somebody else. They funded a lot of this. They're the ones who made all the mistakes to get to the system to where it is today to make it replicatable. So the good news is that you're really making an investment here. You're not just taking a chance when you're acquiring a franchise. So I want to start with that. Stacy spelled it well. There's different investment levels for all different kinds of franchises. There's all different kinds of franchises. There's home-based businesses. There's brick and mortar. And what happens is that the scale kind of goes up the more you go towards the brick and mortar route as far as what the investment might look like. And to answer what Stacy was saying or add on to what Stacy was saying is that the nice thing is that in most cases, because you're not starting a business from scratch, you're acquiring a franchise, there are tons of financing opportunities available out there today because the banks and other institutions, even private equity, like the idea of franchising because it's a proven system. You know, they already have people that are out there running this business and making money and paying their loans back. So there's a lot of opportunities for financing, so that's a mouthful, out there today. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on each one of them, but you will put down some type of earnest money deposit, you know, that will be your out-of-pocket investment. That can range from, you know, $50,000, you know, maybe up to $100,000 of your own money, and you will then probably go out if need be and finance the rest. And there's different opportunities for that. There's things like HELOCs, which is basically using equity that you may have in your home to go borrow money against your home. It's a very economical way to borrow money for starting anything or buying anything. There's interesting concepts that you may not have heard of called things like ROBS, R-O-B-S, which is basically the same kind of concept, a little different execution of it, but you're basically using a 401k or retirement plan to collateralize, you know, the funding of your acquisition of a franchise. And there's all kinds of SBA loans and other types of loans out there, to business loans out there today, that are available for, starting businesses, particularly franchises. So I think, your question is very valid. I wouldn't let it be your biggest concern if you're looking at a franchise. Is, I don't have all the money in the bank. That's, where we can help you. That's where, the funding options can help you get to where you need to go.
I would just add on, because I'm thinking that perhaps Stephen is wondering, well, how much cash should I or do I need to have in the bank? Because you're right, there are many different funding options available. And when you work with us, we'll help connect you to the right funding partner. And as Dave said, there's so many options out there. But we do want to encourage you that if you're going to take a serious look at franchising, you should have some cash in the bank, a minimum of $25,000. And here's why. As Dave said, some of the funding sources may need some kind of earnest money deposit to put down. But the reality is the franchise is going to want to know that you have money in the bank, that you can pay your bills, you can put food on the table, that you can pay your living expenses as you're growing and ramping up your business. So if you're not yet at that point of having $25,000 in the bank, my directive to you would be continue to save, because I want to see you make this a reality. But you want to have enough in the bank so you can be comfortable. If you're already at that point, because you didn't really share with us how much you might have, then reach out to us and we'll help connect you to some funding partners. And then remember, there are different levels of franchising. We're not going to put you into a concept that would be way out of your financial reach. Obviously, you want to be matched to something that is going to be comfortable, that you can repay that loan and has a strong ROI.
Right. That's one of the greatest reasons to work with Stacy and I, your franchise matchmakers, because we know that one of the number one reasons for business failure is undercapitalization. And we have the opportunity to match you with franchises of all different investment levels. And if we find you fit in one of those, we're going to point you in that direction based on your resources that you have available. If you don't fit in any of those, we're going to tell you, that this is not the right time. Come back, go save some money. And when we feel like you're in a better position to be able to be successful, then we can look at franchising. So thank you for the question, Stephen. It really is a great question. I hope all of our other listeners, they got something out of this. This is it for this episode. This is another episode of What's Your Next? We would appreciate, as always, if you do like our videos, please like and subscribe. It definitely helps us with Google and the algorithms. And we will catch you on the next episode of What's Your Next?